Hey guys, this is KMCers. I'm Kirsten and welcome back to another spooky Saturday true crime case. Now this case is quite old and unsolved, so let's just get right into this case. So Cindy Song was born on February 25th of 1980. She was 21 years old from State College, Pennsylvania. Her parents, this is her mom's name. And she also did have one brother. This is her brother's name. This is what I could find on her family at least. She was described as she had grown up in South Korea and she moved to Virginia in her high school years to live with her aunt and uncle to go to high school here. Then she became a college student at the Pennsylvania State University where she majored in integrative arts. This was her final year of college as she was set to graduate in spring of 2002. Now let's just talk about the incident. On October 31st of 2001, she went to a costume party at the Players nightclub with two of her friends, Stacy Palick and Lisa Kim. She was dressed up as a Playboy bunny and they partied at the club until 2 a.m. where they went to a friend's house to play some video games. At around 4 a.m., her two friends took her back to her apartment, and that was the last place she has been known to be at. On November 4th, her friends hadn't heard from her, and so they went to her apartment and tried to knock on the door, where she did not answer. Then they reported her missing. Now let's talk about the investigation that occurred. So police searched her apartment for signs of a struggle or forced entry, and unfortunately they never found any. They did find her fake eyelashes that she wore that night in her apartment. They also did find her backpack and her phone, but her purse, driving license, and credit cards were nowhere to be found. Police do believe that she was wearing the Playboy bunny costume, because they never did find it in her apartment. They did analyze her cell phone and she did not receive or send out any calls that night after being dropped off. There was no activity on her credit cards or her emails, and police and volunteers started to search for her in a wooded area by the campus, by her apartments, where they ended up finding no sign of her. Police do not believe that she just ran off on her own, because they did find two Britney Spears concert tickets for December 10th of 2001 in her apartment. They also did find a receipt for a laptop being delivered to her house on November 6th. Her friends and family also do not believe she just ran away. They also said that she broke up with her boyfriend a month before she vanished. But they don't believe that she was depressed or suicidal because she was very happy and upbeat at the Halloween party. Police believe that she might have left her apartment to go to a 24-hour supermarket, and she was maybe abducted going there or on her way back home. They also could believe that she left with somebody that she maybe knew and that they killed her. They also theorized that it could be also drug related because they did find her diary, and in her diary there was an entry that she wrote that talked about her experimenting with marijuana. Okay, a few days after Sydney's disappearance, a woman matching Sydney's description was seen in Philadelphia being forced into a car by an unidentified male. The woman was screaming for help, and the man ended up yelling at the witness to leave. This happened in the Philadelphia Chinatown district, about 200 miles from Sydney's apartment. The witness did kind of keep changing her story, so police were never able to verify the story, nor have they found the male. The male was described as an Asian male with olive to light brown skin and medium length hair. The police wanted to question him, but again, they never identified this male. A $27,000 reward was offered for anybody that gave any information regarding Sydney's whereabouts. Today, that case is still unsolved. Police believe that the woman screaming was possibly not Sydney, but they had no proof. In 2003, police linked Sydney's disappearance to a bank robber case. The suspected serial killer named Hugo Solowski. He did have a crime of bank robbery that landed him in 7 years in prison, where he ended up meeting a guy named Paul Weekly. And Paul had a friend named Patrick Russin, and the three of them started to rob drug dealers for their money and drugs, and they went on this whole spiel. They ended up doing a home invasion of a couple named Michael Kurkowski and his girlfriend Tammy Fassett. But once they were caught, his two partners started to turn on Hugo and revealed that Hugo was responsible for murdering the missing couple. After being charged with murder, though, Hugo escaped the prison, and 3 days later he was picked up again and he went back to prison for his sentence. Paul Weekly ended up telling police that Hugo had an accomplice named Michael. Paul told the police that Michael had abducted and killed a woman from State College that matched Sydney's description. He led the police to a location of 5 bodies on Hugo's property. DNA tested them all and none of them were Sydney. One of them, though, was the Michael Kikowski, but he insists that Sydney is buried on that piece of property. Police believe that he is possibly telling the truth because he has led them to all these other victims and other things. Claims that he had kidnapped Sydney, but he claims that Michael killed her and kept her bunny ears as a souvenir. In 2006, Hugo was acquitted for a murder of 2 drug dealers that he kept on his property, but he was convicted of abusing their bodies. In January of 2014, police found 7 badly destroyed remains on his property. Sydney has not been linked to any of them as well, and Hugo's attorney and private investigator was also involved in witness intimidation and some crimes in his cases. But in 2015, Hugo was convicted of the murders of Michael and Tammy and was sentenced to life in prison. He is considered a suspect in Sydney's case, but has not been proven, and they have never been able to find her body. Unfortunately, that's kind of where this case ends. There's not much evidence been moved, and the family just wants answers, and I don't blame them. But I will leave you here with some photos of Sydney's life. So I will see you guys in the next video.